Welcome back. Oh my God. It feels like
Yo,
we just recorded. It doesn't feel like we literally just recorded an episode yesterday. And a little over 24 hours later, here we are recording another one because we realized that the rest of this week is going to be a little tough for the both of us. So we're going to pre-record this and then probably have this out for Thursday, Friday-ish.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so you are hearing this at 10:40 p.m. at night
Oh
on
my God, it's
Tuesday,
10:40.
November 30th.
I have an 8 a.m. tomorrow. Fuck my life.
Yeah, I gotta get up early as well. So we're gonna
Oh,
we're gonna make this as quick as possible. I'm gonna leave the introduction pretty short and sweet. But basically, this episode we're gonna essentially talk 99% about Evander Kane, his entire story, quite honestly, as well as what's going on right now with him.
hmm.
And then I'll end it off with a quick Simon Says, and that's about it. And then you'll hear from us next week.
Yeah. Good. He sounds good to me. Sorry, I'm so tired. I'm like half dead
This
right now.
this
Sorry.
episode
Mm.
this episode could either be amazing or just completely off the rails.
Oh, we're gonna be bad. Gonna be bad.
We'll see what
Um,
happens. All right, kick off.
actually, I have coffee here. Fuck yeah. Okay, sorry, hold
Yes, drink some agua first.
on. Nope. No chance. Okay. So we touched on this yesterday. For those of you who, sorry, I guess yeah. So by the time you guys listen to this, you'll have had an opportunity to listen to the other one. So
Yep.
as we mentioned in our previous episode, Evander Kane was put on waivers. He was waived by the San Jose Sharks, which means any of the other 31 teams in NHL could claim him, and his I think it's like $49 million contract. I think it's 7 per year, something like that. And for those of you who don't know why, there is a multitude of reasons why, which we can get into. But basically, um, as I'm sure we'll get into shortly, this man has a very troubling past with his decision making and a lot of the stuff that he's done to other people, and not even unfortunately, it caught up to him, and he was no longer his production was no longer outweighing the burden that he was putting on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we can get into many of the reasons why, but yeah, that's a bit of an introduction. So and again, Evander Kane did go unclaimed, so he's currently I'm not sure if he reported or if he's going to report, but he's with the Barracuda, the San Jose Sharks AHL team.
Yep.
And I think both sides are trying to find the new chapter for Evander Kane, whether that's in the NHL or out of the NHL. He's not playing again for the Sharks, I don't think. And I'd be shocked if he plays again in the NHL.
Yep. I don't
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you there. I think this guy has gone through a lot of stuff. Like I mentioned last episode, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt whenever possible because some of the stuff that he's dealt with includes like a gambling addiction as well, I believe.
yep.
And you never want to see someone go through any kind of addiction, and you know what it is with that. With to heal any kind of situation along those lines, you need counseling and support instead of a punishment.
Mhm.
However, I think some of the other stuff that he's done recently kind of shadows that now. So
Yeah.
he is where he is.
Yeah. Very well put. I don't disagree with any of that. And so let me just quickly run through some of the stuff on his timeline um, that I kind of wrote down. Again, this might not be all of it. I just did a very quick look through it before our episode yesterday. I haven't had time to add to it or anything, or haven't really had enough time to kind of actually dive into it or like look at it or anything like that. So basically, this starts. My notes start off in December of 2012 during the NHL lockout, or I think it was shortly before the NHL lockout. Evander Kane posted a photo of him holding like
Oh yeah.
stacks of $100 bills up to his face, as if there was up as if like he was holding phones up to his face, like oh, I'm so rich, I'm making all this money. Okay, that's fine, whatever. Um, and I think there
Hold
were a
on,
lot
hold
of
on.
players and a lot of fans didn't think that was a very good look.
Quick
Hmm?
thing. Is it okay if each of these
Yeah,
incidences you break up, I have like a little aside that I can comment on?
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So money thing.
yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, when I saw
Mhm.
that initially, I was like, I don't care. He's rich. A lot of people are rich.
Yep.
A lot of people have money.
That's
They
fair.
can do whatever the
Mhm.
hell they want with their money. Who am I to judge why someone's posing with a few stacks of $100 bills up to their face? Whatever. DJ
Mhm.
Khaled does it all the
Yep.
time.
Mhm.
Just an example.
Yep. And again, so yeah, I'm not saying I necessarily had a problem with this, but anyways, but apparently the NHLPA and the other players had a problem with this because the NHLPA, this is just before the lockout, and the argument that the players were making was that we do not have enough money, or the players aren't getting enough money. So
Yep.
then one of your players, who is supposedly, he's not a superstar, he was never a player who was getting paid like supposedly top of the NA league money, goes out and posts a Twitter picture with him holding like $100 bills. It's not a good look for the league or anything like that. That's more so where that point comes from.
Yeah. Maybe
20,
just a
20
little immature. That's what
yeah,
I'm.
for sure. Again, like I think he was a 2008, 2000. He at that point, I think he was still in his early 20s. So you give him the benefit of the doubt there. I mean, you do stupid stuff when you're young. Like that's now you can say I never made that mistake, but you also didn't have as much money and as much
Yeah.
and as much as this guy had like at the time of this at this time.
Yep.
Next, in 2013, he was sued for assault following an alleged incident in Vancouver.
Hmm.
That's so for those of you who don't know, Evander Kane is from Vancouver. I believe he played his junior hockey for the Vancouver Giants in the WHL. Um, yeah, again, I'm pretty sure this was at a bar. I can't remember. Anyways, there was some situation in Vancouver where he was accused of. Oh, there was a man. There was a man he assaulted in Vancouver. Again, I didn't put his name down just for because I didn't think it was anyone's business to know what his name was. But anyways, accused for assault, or he was sued. Sorry, not accused, but he was sued. That was in 2013. February of 2016. That was the year of the NBA All-Star Game, which was held in Toronto. And at the time, Evander Kane did play for the Buffalo Sabres. Again, this isn't on the level of some of the other stuff that's on here, but I'm putting it on here in terms of incidents that were reported in the NHL. Once the NBA All-Star Game, he partied hard. He stayed in a hotel in Toronto, but and the next day he missed the Buffalo Sabres practice and he was suspended 1 game for conduct at the detriment or at the that hurt the team basically.
Okay.
Uh,
So quick thing I want to say there. Now that is something as a fan of the sport, it's not something that you really should be too concerned about. I
Nope.
think this happens all the time with players who are young.
Yep.
Happened to Kasperi Kapanen, happened to Nazem Kadri when he was on the Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
And they miss practices all the time. As long as it's a one-time thing and they
Yep.
remedy it going forward, all good. But
Yep.
this was the start of what Evander Kane will later go on to do in the locker room of his future team.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Like,
So one thing that's not on here, or that I didn't make note of because there wasn't any note mention of it on his Wikipedia page. This guy was a problem with the Jets. He was a problem with the Winnipeg Jets, and this is why they basically offloaded him for nothing. He was a part of a trade, I think, was for like Evander Kane for like Tyler Myers. I think Drew Stafford was in that deal at the time. It
I
was
can
basic.
I can I
Mhm.
can quickly go through. I have it in front of me right now.
Yep, go for it.
And it's funny because Brendan Lemieux was part of that trade too. So
That's the fucking Sabres trade it was. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
February 11th, 2015, Kane plus Zach Bogosian and the rights to Jason Kasdorf were traded to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for Tyler Myers, Drew Stafford, Joel Armia, Brendan Lemieux, and a conditional first in the 2015 pick, which later became Jack Roslovic. And now Roslovic is on the Blue Jackets. And I think the only players who are actually on the Jets from that trade is just Tyler Myers, right?
Nope. He's on Vancouver.
Oh, okay, never mind. Wow.
So I think that whole trade's been basically wiped out essentially.
Yeah.
The point is here, like there was a story, I think it was of Dustin Bufflin putting Evander Kane's like stuff in the shower, and people are like, oh, why is he doing that? Like Evander Kane surely could have done anything to do that. And anyways, there's a whole lot of stuff with Evander Kane with the Jets. I think there was also a story of him choosing to get surgery, even though he didn't have to because he didn't want to play. And anyways, like his time in Winnipeg didn't end well. His time in Buffalo didn't end well. So in 2016, he was sued. I get it here. 2016. So again, I don't have the month on this, but in 2016, there was
July.
an incident. Oh, July. Okay. Yeah. In July, in a hotel room in Buffalo, where he was staying at the time, because I think he was still a
Yep.
relatively new member with the Sabres, he was sued by a woman over alleged assault. This came out after a previous incident that occurred at a nightclub in which he pleaded non-guilty. So there was an incident where he basically assaulted someone else. He pleaded non-guilty, and then shortly after, someone else came out and said Evander Kane did the same thing to me.
Yep.
That's basically what that is. So that's now, let's see, it's in my notes alone. That's one, two, three counts of assault. So keep count with me, everyone, because this is important.
Yep.
In the
Alleged,
last
at least, right?
alleged, okay, alleged assault. And then 2021. So this is where it gets like really messy, because there were there were a string of multiple things that happened in this calendar year that that kind of came out about Evander Kane, like sequentially, like basically bang 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 bang. So let's start at the beginning. So I think it was earlier last year, in the season last year, Evander Kane declared bankruptcy. He didn't have any money. That's what bankruptcy means. He declared bankruptcy. The San Jose Sharks decided to void his contract. Um, Later on, his wife, whose name's Anna Kane. Go ahead.
Quick thing there. So context on why he was bankrupt was apparently because gambling. I think
Okay.
gambling had a lot to do with it.
Okay.
And that's because
Go ahead.
in November 4th, 2019, I have it in my notes here, he was sued by a casino from Las Vegas, after he walked out on a $500,000 gambling debt. And the suit alleged that he had received $500,000 in gambling markers from the casino in April while the Sharks were in Las Vegas for a playoff series against the Vegas Golden Knights. So he's doing this while he's in the playoffs, while he's playing in the playoffs against the opposing team. And then apparently he left the casino without making arrangements to settle the debt. And so they sued him. And I think later on it had something to do with him filing bankruptcy.
Yeah. Okay. So I either didn't know that or I didn't remember it. Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier, and you hope you can get help for that, because again, addiction is a disease, and like it's not good. Okay, so shortly after that, so this is after, I think that's after the reports that he was addicted to gambling, whatever came out. His wife accused him of throwing games with bookies to win money. So again, consistent with someone with a gambling addiction. The NHL launched an investigation. They couldn't find anything conclusive to tie him to any. Basically, couldn't tie him to any of the accusations that his wife made. Shortly after, then Anna Kane and Evander Kane were filing for a divorce, and during that process, Anna Kane accused Evander Kane of sexual assault and domestic battery. So that's four cases now of alleged assault. NHL investigated the claims, couldn't be substantiated, which here we go again. But I mean, like, there's nothing like we can really say about that because we don't have any of the information. And Kane also had a fake vaccination card, which the NHL suspended him 21 games for violating the NHL's COVID protocols, which that is bad.
So the COVID vaccine card was the last bit of information that we have, right? This is his, I don't want to say cherry on top, but this was the cherry on top that basically caused Evander Kane to go through waivers, right?
I mean, basically, because if he doesn't get suspended, I can't sit here. Sorry, it's difficult to say, because the reason I say that is, if he doesn't get suspended, do we think that the San Jose Sharks dress him? I'd say probably, but
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like I would think so, because there's nothing really stopping them other than nothing stopping them.
Okay, so now that we went through everything, so we've got a bunch of alleged accusations for assault, sexual assault, battery, stuff like that, domestic violence. We've got a bunch of gambling problems, whether it was at a casino or whether it was against his own games. I believe the reports that were found regarding him betting against the San Jose Sharks,
Yep.
they were inconclusive and they weren't able to prove anything. However, I think where there is smoke, there is fire. I'm not trying to be a whistleblower here or anything. I have no information regarding this.
Exactly. Like,
but I mean, like, very sus. That's all I can say regarding that. Okay. Now, the one problem I have with everything here, everything up till now, you could argue whether or not he did it, whether or not he should be held responsible, whether or not he should be punished. The one thing where I draw my line is COVID. So I don't care if this comes off as super political. If anyone listening to this right now does not have their vaccine, in my mind, what?
Shut it off. Shut the podcast off. I don't want to.
Honestly, if you're going out there right now without a vaccine, you know that you are threatening someone out there.
Yep.
This isn't about you. You're threatening someone on Earth. Now you have Evander Kane. He's making millions and millions of dollars playing for the Winnipeg Jets, the Buffalo Sabres, the San Jose Sharks. And then he decides to lie that he has the COVID vaccine to the league.
Yep.
Okay. Right now, this guy is 30 years old. He did this last year. So let's say 29, 30 years old, right?
Basically 30.
I mean, where do we draw the line with this guy, right? Like, at some point, you have to realize maybe he just isn't immature when he's young. Maybe he's just immature forever. Maybe he's just the idiot. Maybe he's dense. He doesn't know the consequences of his own actions. If you're lying about COVID, first of all, if you don't get your vaccine, I don't like you, but whatever, that's your choice. But if you're lying that you don't have the vaccine so that you can play and that you can earn more money and that you can put others at risk, then I have a huge, huge problem with you. I have a huge problem with what Evander Kane did. That is not okay. He's basically trying to win the best of both worlds. Right now, the NHL has two different streams for players who have vaccines and those who don't. I think Tyler Bertuzzi, he does not have his vaccine yet, right?
Nope.
So
he's the last player.
The process for him is he just can't play in any Canadian markets. He can play on the Red Wings, he can play in the States, but anytime the Red Wings go to Canada, can't do that.
Or anywhere else with some sort of COVID mandate. I think it's just the Canadian teams for the teams that he's playing that in the NHL.
And there's a bunch of processes around that. I don't think it's like a bubble that Tyler Bertuzzi has to be within, but there's a lot of restrictions that prevents him from being just completely free and open to do whatever the hell he wants to do. So for example, a player who has a vaccine right now is basically, they have no restrictions. They can meet anyone, they can be with the family, whatever. Tyler Bertuzzi has those restrictions. Okay, so you have those two differences between what a COVID vaccinated player can do and what a COVID vaccinated player cannot do. Now you have Evander Kane. He knows that if you have the vaccine, you can play and you can do whatever the hell you want. But he doesn't want the vaccine. But he also doesn't want what Tyler Bertuzzi is going through. He wants the best of both worlds. He doesn't want the vaccine and he doesn't want the restrictions.
Get the best of both.
That I have a huge, huge problem with.
You're not alone.
So Evander Kane, if you're listening to this, I'm coming for you. Look, I'm just fed up. I think I followed this guy since I started watching NHL, and I've always been like, wow, what a dynamic player. He's amazing. He gets so many points, and like he's a driving factor on so many of the teams that he's on. But you know, like when someone annoys you over and over and over again.
Do I ever? But yeah, I do.
Your opinion of them gets clouded enough that after a certain point, you cannot look back and be like, okay, he's a good player. I have to give him some slack. No, I cannot look at it like that anymore. I don't care how many points he makes. I don't care how good he is of a player. He's a threat to health. He's a threat to like common sense. So get the fuck out of here. Go in the AHL. No one needs you in the NHL if that's the shit you're pulling. I'm glad he was suspended for 21 games. I hope he never plays in the NHL again, considering what the hell he just did. But at the same time, I have zero faith in the NHL, and I have a feeling like in a few years, some league will take a flyer on him again. Some team, sorry, will take a flyer on him.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. Number one, I don't even think the NHL. I don't think you should be playing in pro hockey again, like AHL, NHL. I don't like the idea of subjecting other players that play hockey to this man, because like you're seriously telling me if you're playing hockey, you're comfortable with Evander Kane in your locker room? I'm not. And I don't even know the guy, just based off of stuff I've heard. Um I'm gonna make a comparison here. Because I do see a lot of comparisons to one particular athlete that I used to have like probably was one of my favorite athletes of all time until recently. For those of you who are football fans on this that listen to this podcast, I think you'll have an idea where I'm going with this, especially with the fake vaccine card, because some stuff did come out relatively recently. The Evander Kane thing really reminds me of this, and just the Antonio Brown situation in Pittsburgh and Oakland and Tampa Bay now. Like, man, like it's kind of crazy how much shit Antonio Brown got for doing basically the same thing. He like, and if you look at Antonio Brown's track record, the stuff that happened is very similar, like very similar. And you look at Evander Kane, and here he is. He's bankrupt. He's contract's void, but he's still in the NHL, kind of. Like, Evander Kane just doesn't seem like a good human being.
Yep.
And maybe the lesson here is just in the current state of the NHL, you don't need to be a nice human being to play in the league. Maybe that's the message here, and maybe that's just a fact. And I think based on this previous stuff we've talked about on this podcast, I think it meets a common theme that we've talked about. Yep. Anyways, like again, like
if I'm gonna say one thing here, if you're a fan of any team in the NHL and your favorite team acquires Evander Kane, you need to question that team. You need to question that team's decision making and their morals and their ethics and their philosophy and their goals. You need to question everything about that team if they acquire Evander Kane.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've been done with Evander Kane for a while now. Like, ever since the stuff came out about like the multiple like accusations or alleged assault situations, that was my like I'm done with you moment with Evander Kane. Because like again, I know it's alleged. However, like you said with the gambling stuff, where there is smoke, there is fire. And the fact that just based on the stuff I've read, and just based on like the 10 minutes of like research I did like preparing for this thing, and there's already 4 or 5 accusations of alleged assault. Like, I don't know. Like, at some point, I think it's anyways. I don't want to get too political or too like he said she said about this, but like I just don't fuck with Evander Kane at all. I haven't for a while, and I never will. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, I don't think I will either. Like, I'm scrolling through Twitter right now. Seems like a lot of hockey fans echo our sentiment right now. I don't know anyone who could support him at this point in time. Like, I don't know, like even anti-vaxxers have a limit.
You mean pro-choicers?
Sure. Like they have a limit to what they do as well. If they want to support, I can't believe I'm making this comparison, but if you don't want a vaccine, then and that's what you say, you don't want a vaccine. You don't pretend like you do and you try to get one, and then you don't, and then you pretend and you try to do something.
Yeah, like
that's a horrible comparison.
It's not. I don't think it's a horrible comparison at all. I get where you're coming from. I think it's just there's a line, and I think in this kind of extent. Just a note. It just popped in my head as we were talking about this. Josh Archibald of the Edmonton Oilers also is not vaccinated, but he's also on long-term injured reserve because he has a heart condition.
Yes.
So he's not in the league. Obviously hope his heart condition gets better, but that doesn't excuse him from the fact that he's not vaccinated. Sorry, not excuse him, but like it doesn't change the fact that he's not vaccinated.
It doesn't change the fact that the vaccine helps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, like let's leave it there. Sorry, the vaccine thing. I don't want to get too political. I don't want to get too, but I'll say this: it's like our views on the vaccine are the same, and there are people that disagree, and it's a shame because anyways, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
My main point here was like when you play in the NHL, I think you take on some responsibility to like. I don't want to say to like fall into line because that's not what I mean. But I just think there's also a responsibility to do the right thing and like be a role model for people for kids that watch you, for like anyone who watches you, really. You are in the top 5 to 10% of the like of people in terms of like annual income, and there's a lot of people that look up to you, rightfully or wrongfully. And I just think there's so many things that there's so many things that like not getting the vaccine does for the league, and just it sends a horrible, number one, it sends a horrible message, and like it's just, again, I just find I'm frequently at a loss for words with
Yeah.
this league. um which sucks, but I guess I chose to like this league, I guess. Like, anyways,
I think you
it's
chose to like the sport, not the
the
baggage.
sport. Yep, yep. That's also fair. I'll give you that. Yep.
If there's one more thing I could say about Evander Kane is
Mhm.
uh vaccines aside, it just feels so like high schooly, like what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's trying to get into a nightclub
Yep.
and he's trying to get out a fake ID. You know
Fake
what I
ID.
mean?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a really good comparison. Anyways, like,
How old are you?
yeah. Look, I honestly, earlier I said I doubt he'll play in the NHL again, but based on the league's history, I'm not confident in that take at all. I'm sure there'd be some team who's stupid enough to actually send a flyer his way at some point, but anyways, that's not. I disagree with that. I think playing in the NHL is a privilege. It's not a right. And Evander Kane has he's like he's acted like he deserves to be in the NHL instead of earning it
I think it's
by
safe to say that he's lost the privilege.
lost the privilege, and I just don't think he deserves to be in the NHL anymore.
Yeah.
He's done too much. He's crossed the line too many times, and it's just another situation where I think the league has to take a look at itself and be like, how the hell did we let so many things happen? Because again, they chose to do nothing about Evander Kane for a very long time and the stuff that he did, and he acted again and again and again and again. We've talked about this before. If you don't do anything to solve the problem, the person will not change. We said that with Brad Aldrich. I'm now saying it about Evander Kane.
Yep. I agree with you there. If we look back on the Winnipeg Jets from the last 3, 4, 5 years, there's a lot of things that have gone on in their dressing room, apparently, whether it was with Dustin Bufflin, Blake Wheeler, Patrick Laine, Evander Kane was in that mix as well. And you have to wonder if, not if at this point, I'm just going to say how much of an impact he had in the destruction of that locker room. Because I definitely believe it has something to do with Dustin Bufflin not being in the league anymore. Hold on, I'm going to go back on that a little bit. I think that was more so injury related, but I know there was a lot of conflict between the Winnipeg Jets players, and I know he was at the center of it.
One thing we need to keep in mind as well is I think based on the players you've talked about there's different periods that I don't think Evander Kane played with Patrick Laine. But generally speaking, even when Evander Kane was with the Jets, though, you're right, there definitely was a lot
Yeah,
of conflict amongst the players, and I think it basically became the Jets versus against Evander
kind of.
Kane, which again says a lot about Evander Kane.
Anyway, so we can beat the horse on Evander Kane to death, but I think we said what we had to say. I'm
Yep.
gonna go to my question of the day now. I
Yep.
think this is pretty fitting. Do
Yep.
you think Evander Kane will ever play a game in the NHL again? It's not do you want him to, do you think he will?
Yeah. It
I think.
sucks, but I do. But I do.
I
Now
hate that
let's.
we both say yes. Like
Thank you.
that's a
Hold on.
little faith we have in the league right
I'm
now.
gonna, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna see if I can pick out a team, that team that's actually gonna play him. Hold on,
Oh my
I'm playing
god.
the standings. What do we got? What do we got? What we got? Oh my god, I got it. I got it. Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
they have
yeah,
Tony
based off of
D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo, Evander Kane, and Tony D'Angelo are gonna make the. Oh my god, it's still gonna happen, isn't it? Oh, anyways, holy shit.
look, there's a lot of general managers in the league currently, even with Mark Bergevin gone, that I know have zero regard for stuff like this, and they bat an eye when it comes to sexual assault allegations or gambling addictions or allegations or COVID policies. And so someone
Yeah,
is gonna take a flyer on him. It's just a matter of when. I would give it, like, if I had to put a number on it, maybe max 2 years, 2 seasons before he does. Although I'd be
I
surprised
think
if
you're
it takes
being
that long.
very generous.
Yeah.
I think teams are gonna start hitting his phone at the end of the season.
Ah. All
Yeah,
right, whatever.
because yeah, like 'cause here's the thing, right? He's already suspended. Basically, he's clear of he could play in the league again, but as of right now, the Sharks don't want him to, at least not for the Sharks. Um, I'm just kind of curious to see what happens with his contract. Now, again, one thing I'll disclaim is I'm not really sure. Like, I know the Sharks voided his contract, but I'm not sure what that actually means for him going forward. Um, I know if they release him or if they buy him out, they're gonna have to eat a huge amount of money for a very long time. Um, and I wonder if they just try to trade him somewhere else and like retain salary, and maybe someone calls him up because he has a lot of money left on that deal. I think it was a couple years ago. It was never the Sabres traded him to San Jose, which I think was like 3 years ago. So I think 4 years left or something.
Do you know how? Do you want to know how much he has left?
Sure.
7 year. Sorry, $7 million
Hmm.
per year
I
up
knew
to the
that.
end of the 24-25 season.
Okay, yeah. So that's like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. That's 22, 23, 24, 25. So it's I think it's 3 more years, 22, 20, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. 3 more years, yeah.
Yeah. And if anyone were to buy him out, the
It'd be a lot.
buyout would go to the end of 27-28, and it would be 3.6, 2.6, 4.6, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6.
Interesting. Okay. I also think it's probably a pretty good chance to a team that might take that contract, buy it out, and he signs somewhere else. Because I think there's teams like Ottawa, Arizona, basically bottom feeders who need to hit the cap floor. And Evander Kane's contract would obviously help him do it. There's not many players that are like that anymore. Like the Mark Savards of the world, the Marion Hosses of the world. I think more so just because with the pandemic, teams are not as friendly to taking on money. But if they had hit the cap floor, I could fully see them doing it. But we'll see.
You want to do a quick Simon Says before we wrap?
I would love to.
Let's end on a somewhat positive note, or
Okay.
not necessarily positive, just fun. Something.
Oh, also positive. Armand got Heritage Classic tickets that he
Oh
wanted.
yeah, I
That's
did.
a positive.
But thanks to
Yeah.
you and your friend, that's how I got it.
Yeah, Zach, if you're listening, I passed the information over. But yeah, one of us is
Love you,
going to the
Zach.
Heritage Classic, and that's Armand's going to the Heritage Classic. We're excited! Yay!
Maybe I'll live stream from there. Nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna enjoy it.
I don't think so. Anyways, Simon says, "Let's go."
Okay. I want to see how far back you can go on this. So let's see.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Okay.
Okay, let me go. I feel like you're pretty smart. I'm gonna go. So after the 05, 04, 05 NHL lockout,
Oh,
can you
Jesus. Okay.
name all the Stanley Cup winners since then?
405. Okay.
So I'll
05.
start in
Okay.
2006 all the way up to 2021.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay, I might be able to do this. Okay. 06. 06 was Carolina.
Okay, I
07.
will say what you got right and wrong at the end of this all.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I think I can do this. Okay. 06 was Carolina over Edmonton. 2007 was Anaheim over Ottawa. 2008 was Detroit over Pittsburgh. 2009 was Pittsburgh over Detroit. 2010 was Chicago over Philadelphia. 2011 was Boston over Vancouver. 2012 was LA over New Jersey. 2013 was Chicago over Boston. 2014 was LA over New York. Yeah, New York. 2015, oh my God, was Chicago over Tampa Bay. 2016 was Pittsburgh over San Jose. 2017 was Nashville. So no, it was Pittsburgh over Nashville. 2018 was oh my God. I think it was hold on. 2018.
oh.
Hold on. Yeah, so 2018 was Washington over Vegas. 2019 was St. Louis over Boston. 2020 was Tampa over Dallas. 2021 was Tampa Bay over Montreal. That's all of them. I don't know for fact. Let's go.
Oh my God. You literally got every single one right. I was looking for Stanley Cup winners, but you got the Stanley Cup runners
Matchups
as
and
well.
the winners, baby. Let's go.
Holy shit. You are smart. Wow.
I mean, I have
I'm
to.
speechless. Okay, wait. Now I'm
Yeah.
curious. Now I'm curious how much you actually know. Can you go backward? So let's go 2004 just to see how much you know. 2004.
Oh man. Oh, okay. I'm not good at the pre-lockout ones. Okay. Colorado.
No. Okay.
Fuck.
So
Was it New Jersey?
It is after the lockout that you know everything. It's Tampa Bay in 04.
Fuck, I knew that one. Damn it. I did know that. Tampa Bay over Calgary. Oh my
Calgary.
God.
Okay, I'll give you one more. 2003. You were like 4 years old when this final happened. I'd be surprised if you know this.
I think the Devils. I'm pretty sure it's the Devils. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really feel confident, but is it the Devils?
It is the Devils. You know the runner-up.
Fuck. It's not the Canucks.
It rhymes with Mighty Fucks of Anaheim.
Oh, really? Oh, true. I didn't know that. That's actually really interesting. The Scott Niedermayer Bowl. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay, smart cookie. You got basically everything there. This is the first time it says where you are 100%.
Literally 100%. First and only, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's hope this continues.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for you today.
Yeah.
As always, subscribe to everything. We'll have links in the descriptions below for all of our socials.
Yeah.
Hit the notification icon, and we're gonna go to sleep.